Pancasila as a state base. First, the fundamentals of a country are extracted from the soul of the nation or country concerned. 2. The sound of the basic text of Pancasila state it is now is formulated through various stages and processes. There are some stages of Pancasila formulation process. The first stage of Pancasila formulation process began since the first session of BPUPKI or Investigation Agency for Indonesian Independence on 28 May until 1 June 1945. Fourth, the first figure who discovered or put forward the term Pancasila was Sukarno in his speech on June 1, 1945. We commemorate June 1st as the day of the birth of Pancasila. The fifth, after Sukarno's speech on June 1st, the chairman of BPUPKI entered the first session and formed a small committee. The small committee is tasked with preparing and formulating the fundamentals of the country based on Sukarno's speech. This small committee became known as the Committee of Nine. During the formulation process, many important events occur. These events contain important fighting values that we should emulate in everyday life. Chapter 2. The value of togetherness in the process of formulating Pancasila. 1. In general, the formulation of Pancasila reflects the value of togetherness, which is to realize the ideals for living together and self-determination through the establishment of independent Indonesia. 2. The value of togetherness in the process of Pancasila starts from the beginning or the first trial of BPUPKI to the final trial of PPKI has been developed. 3. The value of togetherness of Pancasila formulation process at earlier stage was realized in initiative of all BPUPKI session participants in delivering ideas about the state foundation. The value of togetherness in the process of Pancasila formulation was also apparent in small team commonly referred to as Committee of Nine. The value of togetherness in Committee of Nine is reflected in formulation which is known now as Jakarta Charter, which is the way in the middle of differences of opinions between Islamic groups and nationalities. Fifth, the value of togetherness of Pancasila formulation process at the final stage before PPKI session on August 18 looks at the write-off the first 7 words of Jakarta Charter. The write-off the 7 words was because there was objection from invoice acting on behalf of representatives of Protestant and Catholic groups from Eastern Indonesia. 6. The value of togetherness in the process of formulating Pancasila, we should make lessons in everyday life. Chapter 3. The fighting values of leaders who act in the formulation of Pancasila as a foundation of the state. First, the figures who play a role in the process of Pancasila formulation as a basis of state are people who are knowledgeable and broad-minded. Second, many important events that occurred simultaneously during the process of Pancasila formulations need to show important fighting values that we should emulate. Various attitudes of leaders who play a role in the process of formulating the Pancasila as a basis of the state also need to be emulated in everyday life. Some examples of the fighting values of leaders in the process of formulating the Pancasila are hard work, Biksu, humble, willing to sacrifice, prioritizing the interests of the nation and the state, and others. Chapter 4. General Election and Regional Head Election. First, election and the implementation of popular sovereignty in the system of government. Second, in Indonesia, elections are held to elect people's representatives who sit in the government and also to elect the president and vice president. There are two types of election participants, namely political parties and individuals. Participants in the political party election are to elect the DPR and DPRD, and individual election participants to elect DPD or Regional Representative Council. There are some stages of election. It includes: first, voter registration; second, campaign; third, voting; fourth, vote counting; and lastly, determination and announcement of election result. Supervision of the implementation of the election is carried out by the Oversight Committee with its members from the elements of the attorney, police, higher education, and community leaders. 6. Election observers are conducted by election observers whose members are from non-governmental institutions as well as representatives from foreign governments. Local elections are held to help the head or deputy head of regional government, both at the provincial and district, through direct election. 8. The election implementation are also based on Luber and Jurdil, or direct, general, free, secret, honest, and fair. Election supervision is carried out by the Election Supervisory Committee with responsibilities under the Election Commission. 10. Monitoring the implementation of the election is carried out by the election observers formed by the Election Commission. Chapter 5. State institution according to the amendments to the 1945 Constitution. First, state institutions are bodies that form a system of state power. Second, in the amendment to the 1945 Constitution, there are several state institutions which are new to the Indonesian constitutional system. Third, in terms of authority, the position of state institution must consist of at least three types, namely: first, legislative state institution for legislators; second, executive for implementing the law; and judiciary for law enforcement for violation of laws. MPR is the incarnation of the power of all the people of Indonesia, because MPR members consist of all members of the DPR, and the DPD is directly elected by the people. Number 5. MPR, DPR, and DPD include state institutions that hold legislative power. 6. The President or Vice President holds executive power, and in the system of government, the Republic of Indonesia has the position of head and head of government. In his term of office, the President or Deputy can be dismissed if he is proven to have committed treason to the state of gross violation and suggestion of the DPR to the MPR. 7. MA or Supreme Court, MK or Constitutional Court, and KY or Judicial Commission are judicial power holders, MA and MK as judicial power holders. 8. Members of the Supreme Court have a maximum of 90 Supreme Court justices, while the members of the Constitutional Court have 9 people, each of which 3 members are submitted by the DPR, and 3 members are submitted by the President, and 3 members are submitted by the Supreme Court. Chapter 6. Central and Regional Government. First, the territory of Republic of Indonesia is divided into provincial regions. Second, each province is divided into regency and city regions. Third, the central government is the device of the unitary state of Republic Indonesia, namely the President, who is assisted by a Vice President and state ministers. Fourth, regional government is the apparatus of the regency, or city regional government is a region or mayor. Fifth, every regional government has a mandatory and optional authorities. Cooperation between Southeast Asian nations. First, Southeast Asia is an area on Asian continent that includes island countries and land around the Malay Peninsula and Indochina. Second, cooperation between countries in Southeast Asia is important because geographically these countries are close together and neighboring. What is ASEAN? ASEAN is a form of regional cooperation organization in Southeast Asian countries. 4. ASEAN is a cooperative organization that is cooperative, not integrative. 5th, the extent of cooperation between countries in Southeast Asia region is expected to occur new developments that are mutually beneficial. 6th, cooperation of countries in the Southeast Asia region needs to be improved continuously so that the benefits that are felt become more numerous and broad. Chapter 8. What is the role of Indonesia in the environment of Southeast Asian nation? First, aside from being a member of the Southeast Asian region, Indonesia is also part of the international community. Second, the role of Indonesia in the Southeast Asian countries, sometimes through ASEAN membership, but sometimes also outside ASEAN membership. 3. Indonesia is one of the countries that has become an important contributor to the idea of implementing a stability program in the Southeast Asia region. 4. Indonesia is involved in creating a Southeast Asia region that is peaceful, free, and neutral. 5th, Indonesia often appears to be a mediator of conflict and become a peace force on behalf of the United Nations in the Southeast Asia region. Chapter 9. What is Indonesian foreign policy? First, the foreign policy of a country is an extension of the hand of its foreign policy.